welcome to another episode of the Jazz Transcription Clinic Live. Today I will work on a beautiful track by Lester Young on the song T for Two. I have already started transcribing the melody, and maybe we can focus on the melody and then of course the solo. But first of all, I would like to point out that as jazz players, we also need to learn how to play a melody of a standard, of a song, in a good way. Now, what we know about Lester Young is that he was one of the most elegant saxophone player of the past. And his way to deliver the melody is always very melodic, very much like if he's singing that melody. So let's dive into this wonderful song. This is a recording coming from a collection. This is the recording called the Complete Aladdin Sessions by Lester Young with various formation. And in this one, in this track, T for Two, it's a recording that dates back in 1942, and there is Nat King Cole playing piano, so another very elegant player, and Red Callender playing drums. They recorded that day 5 tracks, and this is one of those tracks. Now, the form of this tune is A, B, A, C, or it's a strange form. It's like A, B, we could call it, but the second A, the second block of 8 bars here, it's a repetition of the first 8, but a major third up. So the first 8 bars are in B flat major, and then we move into D major. Like the first 8 bars. And then we go into D major. And we go back to the initial idea. And then there is the ending, the last 8 bars, which we can call C if you like. So maybe we can call the second section B, even though it's the same idea. So anyway, it's not that important, but it's good to have an awareness of what the form is. So I have already started transcribing the first 8 bars of the tune, and where Lester Young basically plays the melody with a little embellishments here and there. And we can keep going with the transcription from here. So for those who have missed my previous episodes, and I have been asked what sort of software I'm using, this is a web platform called Soundslice, and there is a big implement that came out last week. I will talk a bit more about that news at the end of the video. It's called Soundslice. You can reach it at soundslice.com, and you can use it for free, or you can pay a small fee, monthly fee, to unlock several more features. And it's very convenient because you can import any video into it, and you have the waveform at the top. You can divide in bars, and you can write the music inside the platform, and you can see the music placed here at the top. So it's quite convenient for us transcribers. Let's go with the B section. So this is quavers. That's a dotted crotchet. Right? Now let me talk this time a little bit about how we can improve our transcribing methodology. So basically, first of all, I try to get the rhythm down of the bar, and here on sound slice you can loop the bar that you are going to transcribe, and you can basically loop it. Wait, let's loop it. And you can also slow it down if it's too quick. So maybe 80%. So right? Now this is quite simple, and the rhythm will be 6 quavers, 1 quaver rest, and a last quaver. Right? And the notes. What is that sound? That's something that we study a lot, isn't it? It's an arpeggio, and it's a minor 7 arpeggio. So it starts from the 7th, note D. That's a descending minor 7 interval. Descending by a semitone on the C sharp. So all those things, after a while that you transcribe, all those things like a sound of a scale, the sound of an arpeggio, the sound of a pattern, the sound of a harmonic progression, they become familiar, and you develop a muscle memory in your brain for those things. So whenever I hear my brain immediately goes to minor 7 arpeggio, and then I just need to know which note, but I know that it will be a minor 7 arpeggio, so I have to identify the first note, and then I will be done. Right? So let's go into writing this. I need quavers, and I have to D, and then the octave lower. And then we said there is a rest, do, and I think the last note was an A, isn't it? Right, we got it. And let's get the next bar. This to me is crotchet, quaver, quaver, tied into another crotchet. Da, 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 off. So I'll prepare a crotchet. I'm changing. Crotchet. And C sharp. D, A, B, and crotchet, slurred, rest. Right. Oh, I love it. So, rhythm is pretty easy. 8 quavers. love it. So we prepare the quavers, and it's da do da da. Again, what sound is that? Major triad, right? Starting from the third. Dee do dee dee, dee do dee dee. If you think everything in C, it would be E, C, E, G. But in this case, it's actually concert C, but it will be F sharp starting note for us. Right? Dee do da da. And then this sounds to me like a diminished triad, or arpeggio. Oh, it's just a normal triad. Yeah, and it's pretty reasonable from a harmonic point of view. I will explain that. So we said F sharp, and then we have A flat, do. This is natural because it's diminished, and A. So remember I said the B section is in D major for us. So here Lester Young is thinking, of course, like D major, or possibly even the third. But anyway, this sounds like D major, so let's stick to D major. And this is the flat 3 diminished, to land most likely on the second. So that's a very common chord progression, right? When you do like, instead of 1 6 2 5 or 3 6 2 5, you can substitute the sixth with a diminished flat 3. And this is what Lester Young does. And then I don't know what's next, but it could be, right? Something resolving on a 2-5. So let's go and wonder. De bo 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 bo. Again, is equal to this one. Do do di di. Di do do da da. Again, it's the same sound, same arpeggio. And same rhythm as here. Di do 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, so we know that it will be quavers, and it starts on B this time. D, do, do, D, do, rest, C sharp. So it's basically tied. It's basically a quaver tied. D, do, D, C sharp, do, do, and ba, bo, ba. Now, what's the main thing that you need to know when you want to become faster in transcribing? Definitely intervals. You need to know the sound of all the intervals inside an octave. There will be some intervals that you need to know just the theory of, like some weird things like a diminished third, which is something that exists, right? If you think C to E double flat, that's a diminished third, but the sound of it will always be a major second, right? Right? So those things you need to know in theory, but once you know the sound of a major second, you know the sound that you want to know, right? In this case, listen to this last note. So again, you can develop a skill, a sort of muscle memory in your ear to recognize what that distance is. One of the best ways to do that is to associate a song, to link a song that you know that starts with an interval. So in this case, it will be a major sixth, and my song, the song that I have associated with the major sixth is the Libiamo the Cheers from Verdi opera. Right? If you don't want to have anything to do with opera, you can think of the song Days of Wine and Roses. Right? But any song that starts with, right? I'm Italian, so my heart goes to Giuseppe Verdi. But any song that you know and that you can remember that starts with that interval, you can memorize and link to a major sixth. So this is the interval that I hear here. Or right? Therefore, I know that a major sixth from the A is F sharp, right? Right, and this is easy because it will be a dotted minim and then a quaver rest. Right, and I guess now we go. Wow, there is a big so that's a minim, and it's F natural. There is a long scoop which we need to mark, and then it's tied into an F. Again, what interval is this? Do you have a song? I do. It's the morning from the Grieg Peer Gynt, right? So that's a minor third descending, and then there is a rest, major second. All right, but I definitely need to mark a big scoop on this note, because this is what Lester Young does. Okay. What interval? So it's a minor third, and the first note it will be B flat, D, G, D, do, da, major second, ascending, D, da, is it long? Yeah, the whole bar. so I can tie it up, right? Let's keep going. Bo be bo ba bo. Can you visualize? Can you hear the pattern? It's the same minor third, do, di, do, and then di, do. This will be a major third, di, do, di, do, di, do, but it's in the scale. Remember, we are in B flat major, so B flat, G, A, F. Di, do, di, do, di, do. It's flat. Di, do, di, do, di, do, di, do. I forgot the rhythm. Oh, there is a rest before, so body, and this is G, do, do, di, do. And this is tied, right? And there is a grace note here, di do, which is G sharp, and yeah. Three do do, 1 2 and 1 2 and. That's a minute. Yep, I'm happy. Do 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 do. What interval is that? Do do. Descending minor second. Do do. You know, several songs that starts with a minor second descending. It's a semitone. So from For Elise, Beethoven, or you want to stick to jazz, like Petite Fleur, a French song. Right? That's right. In our case, the first note is F. Do 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 di. Again, apart from the initial interval, which is the descending semitone, that is another arpeggio, but this time it's not a minor 7. Minor 7 would be bo bo be ba, and this is bo 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 bo. So what sound is that? Is the half diminished, right? And this is a crotchet rest, and then there is a quaver rest, and then F, and then E half diminished, which has the flat 5, flat 5. We do 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 di do da. 1 2 and 3 and 4 1. 1 2 and 3 and 4 and. So crotchet at the start. Three do 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 di do da. 3 and all quavers. Do do flat. That's a minim, D, and then there is a crotchet rest and quaver rest, and the last note is do, do, do. That's a minor third, right? Do, 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 do. So A to C. Do, do. What song do I have for a minor third? I'm going to reveal I have a Mahler symphony. The beginning of the funeral march with the trumpet going. Right? It's a very intense minor third, which doesn't leave any hope to anybody. So do, 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 do. That's a minor third, and we do, 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 do. To me, that's a minor third. So I will put the note C, and I'm pretty sure I am accurate. Now, that's fantastic. What sound is that? Ti da da da. There is actually a jazz standard that starts with these 4 notes, which is Blue Monk, right? But easier to think that it's a chromatic scale. Ti da da da, ti da da da, right? It's a chromatic scale, but as I said, there is Blue Monk. Right? That starts with those 4 notes. So we know that the first note is E because we heard from the note before. Do, ti, do, ti. And that's a major third. What song do I have when the saints go marching in? Do, ti. Right? So do, do, di, do, do, di, do. And in this case, E will be our first note. T, E, F, F sharp, G. Ah, but there is a syncopation, so this is like this. Ti, do, ti, ti, do. What interval is that? Descending perfect fourth. Ti, do. How do I know that? I have a Schubert symphony for that, which is the 8th symphony, unfinished, and di do di do do do. There is that beautiful melody. So, as you see, I started with classical music, so there is a lot of classical music in my imprinting, but you can pick any song. I don't know. Da, do, ti, do, do, ti, do, 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 ti, do, do, ti. I don't know. That must be a jazz song starting with that interval, but to me that is Schubert. Di, do, di, do, do, do. And da, da, do. And I think it's another syncopation, and then goes up chromatically. Am I right? Da, do, do. All right. Here, let me tell you that I would prefer to write this note as an E flat. And the reason for that is that we are going into G dominant chord to go to C minor. So we are at the end of the melody, so there will be the perfect cadence, extended perfect cadence. So here we are on a D half diminished chord, 3, going into the 6th, G7 flat 9, going into the 2, C minor 7, 5, F dominant and B flat major. So I prefer to call this note E flat because it's referred to the 2 coming, and overall we are in B flat major, so it's important to ba ba bo da da do F G D, right? Do you hear that? F G D do, do, with a rest in between. Maybe a minim, I'm not sure. Let's put a minim. Yeah. And now the melody, if you remember, the melody goes. Right, so there will be some sort of melody built by Lester Young around those notes. What are those descending triads, right? And we know that the chord would be C minor there, and right, what I hear is C minor and B diminished triad, which is the dominant of C minor. And it's D, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and so 1, and then quavers E flat, this, C, and then crotchet F, and then quavers and B natural. Right, do 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 do. And guess what note will be here? I bet $100 on E flat. Oh, I was lucky. Dee da, 1, 2, and da do, da do, da da do, da 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 da. Descending perfect 5th. So we said this is an E flat dotted, going down to a D, which is a quaver, and this is a crotchet, rest, quaver, rest, and G. And as I said, you know, the melody goes da 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 da, G, G, F, F, E flat, D. And Lester Young simply, very simply, but very elegantly plays. Right? So I will discuss a little bit more at the end of the melody. That's like a warming up exercise for singers. Right? That's Diabolus in Musica, tritone, 3 whole tones, or Simpson, the Simpson, right? Or if you prefer, Maria, right? I never stop saying Maria. So that's a tritone. From the first note to the landing note of this, So it will be C because the landing is do ba da ba da ba da ba do. So he goes down the scale and lands on F sharp from C. Do 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 B flat. And this is tied, and this is semiquavers, which are pretty much hidden. Do, do, and this will be a quaver of do pa bo pa pa pa. What interval is that? Pa pa major 6 pa pa, maybe minor 6, right? Do da do da do di do di. Yeah, what interval I have for the minor 6th? There is a song called I'm a Fool to Want You, which actually starts with a semitone, but then the next interval is a minor 6th. Right? So, which is a very sad, very desperate interval. Completely opposite of the Cheers, the Giuseppe Verdi Cheers. I'm a fool to want you. So that will be, I think, the dotted crotchet and D. Higher. That's 3 crotchet, D, do, D, B flat, do, and rest. Wow, there is something going on here. Maybe this, if you on the tenor saxophone play the bass key and then put down the whole right hand plus the D sharp. Because he uses an alternate fingering that makes the B flat a little bit sharp. Or maybe it just alternates the normal, like the A sharp. There is a video on YouTube that I made called To Bis or Not to Bis on how and when to use the bass key. Maybe he just alternates A sharp with the bass key. Like something like that. And the rhythm is yeah, do da do da do da. So I made 2 crotchets, 2 B flat, 2 da, and then quavers. Now we need to mark this somehow, and maybe I will put like a cross on top where it is, or maybe even this, and then you can write a sort of legend where you know that the fingering corresponds to an alternate fingering, or like something like this. Again, Mahler. The continuation of that funeral march is, right? So that's a minor triad arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, 8. So it starts with the same note where we were, do, and then goes down a minor third, do, do. So it will start on G, minor third, and this is a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, right? Most likely will be and goes down to the D again. C minor scale ascending, right? All those things are the things that we practice every day. So just make a connection in your brain on what that thing that you practice sounds like, and then you will be able to recognize, oh, that's a minor scale, right? The first 5 notes of a minor scale. And that is when you speed up your transcribing process. And I said the first note is a crotchet. This is tied, and then do de do, C D G do do. Maybe it's time. Yeah, it's almost like that. And do you hear this nasal sound on the D? That's because he uses the lateral D, not the conventional D. It's not. It's more this honky D. Do-de-do. We are at the end. Bo 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 bo. Again. Do 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 do. A minor 7th arpeggio. Do 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 do. Right. So that will be like this, and F. Just a quaver rest, and we delete this. The last F is super ghost, so we put it in brackets. Alright, this is already the solo, so let's stop here. And so this is the beginning of the solo. Let me point out. Okay, solo starts here. Put a text mark, and we write here solo. Right? So I will stop here because we have the whole melody, and as I said, we can call this will be the end of what I call B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not this one, but this one. Okay, so this will be another A, as we said, and we can call hit A, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this we call C. And this we call a double bar line. Okay, so we have the form now down. Let's try to play from top. See how I go. Right, I like it. I think I'm a bit sharp, so I can fix my tuning. Now, there are a couple of ties missing, which I noticed. This one is missing, and this one is missing. Okay, and of course there's no articulation yet at the moment, and we are also playing at 80%, so we can try maybe a bit faster. Right. So this is the melody, guys, and it's, as I said, you know, Lester Young is one of the more elegant with this gentle, fluty sound, airy sound, which is beautiful, and like his understanding, you know, of the melody properties is unbelievable, because you can hear that there is the melody always, even when he plays like an articulated line like this, right? Here the melody goes da do da do da do da do dee, which would be probably a bit boring to play. Of course, boring if you don't have lyrics. If you have lyrics, it's a whole different story, but as saxophone players, we don't have lyrics, so maybe it's a good idea to embellish, to flourish a little bit the melody. And also in the C section, when the melody goes D, right, you can see, even see, but instead of playing, right, he plays, which which is super nice. I like it. So I suggest, you transcribe if you want to learn a little bit better how to play a standard melody, how to make it sound really, really good. Just transcribe those legendary figures like Lester Young, Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins, if you're a saxophone player, of course, or Benny Carter, or Charlie Parker, Cannonball Adderley. So all those guys that were really, really good in taking a melody and changing and personalize a little bit without going too far away from the original melody, but make it sound really, really jazzy and swinging. Another thing that I want to mention is that how much I love this note here. Here the chord is, let me write the chord, is D half diminished. I don't know if, no. So I have to write D minor 7 flat 5. And here there will be G7 flat 9. And here there will be C minor 7, right? So guys, if you need a demonstration or you are not too familiar with the fact that on a half diminished chord, which is usually the 2 chord in a minor key, the 9th has to be major. The 9th has to be major, which is weird because we are heading towards C minor and you hit the E natural. But though that note there is gorgeous. And you can go into the flat 13 on the next chord, or the 7th. Or, as I said, right? So those are all ideas that you can like steal from those legends. So you see the E, and then E flat, which is the flat 13 of the dominant, and possibly resolving on the 9th of a C minor. So you can even, I don't know, maybe loop those bars, right? Like making a loop and start with playing. And then start improvising you can practice several ideas based on what you discover, what you dig out from a transcription. Now, I want to leave you with this new function that I just announced at the beginning of the video. On Sound Slice is called speed training, and it's a super gold function. So here under speed, if you click, of course you can change the speed, but there is now a new button called speed training where you can set an initial speed. Let's say, I don't know, we start at 70%, and of course we want to finish at 100%. Increase speed by 10%, or you can decide how much you want to increase the speed and how much plays before the speed will be increased. So let's try to do it like 3 times. And then, so we start at 70%. After 3 repetitions, it will go to 80% because it goes up by tens. And then after 3 repetitions, up to 90, and then up to 100. Let's take like a line that, I don't know, I missed before. Maybe this one. We'll loop this line here. Okay, and we go, as I said, by yeah, okay. So now you can see that there is a little arrow going up. So we are set to practice. Second repetition. And now we go up. Oh no, I said repetition. So the next repetition will go up, and here we'll change to 80. You see? 80. Go to 90. One more. And we are 100%. So I think that's a super gold, function that gives you practice. And you can also add your practicing to a practice list. You can bookmark this one, right? And when you practice, it's just you can save like your loops. You can do a lot of stuff to help you with practicing your own transcriptions or other transcriptions if you put them into sound slice, right? As usual, I will share this content also on my website, and maybe once I'm done, a PDF of the transcription. If you have any question, please, you can send me an email or just write a comment. Please subscribe to my YouTube video channel and subscribe to my podcast as a listener. And if you have any other doubt or question, reach me out. Website, Facebook, YouTube, all out there. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and see you and hear you next time. Bye.